Hello friends, welcome back to another video. Today we have a very special episode. We're going to be covering a new exciting private company called 𝗔𝗣𝗣𝗥𝗢𝗡𝗦, which just got some incredible news. They got FDA approval. They're about to come out with their first product. So I want to give you a quick rundown of what you need to know. Now, before we start, as always, this is not investment advice, and everything here is for entertainment purposes only. So make sure to do your own research. But without further ado, let's begin. So right off the bat, let me tell you my favorite things about this company. No. 1. It's a pure-play biotech focused on arguably the biggest problem in healthcare, cardiovascular disease. No. 2. It's a spin-out from the renowned George Institute for Global Health, which gives them credibility and network in the space. And no. 3. It's led by serial entrepreneur Professor Tony George, who I believe has a shot at being the next Martin Shkreli if he executes properly. So today we're going to cover this company under our intellectual property framework, which includes the competitive landscape, technology, business model, market size, financials, valuation, and finally, my outlook for the company. Okay, so let's get right into it. So 1. Strategic summary. 𝗔𝗣𝗣𝗥𝗢𝗡𝗦 is a private company developing a portfolio of fixed-dose polypills to treat multiple chronic conditions with a shared underlying pathophysiology. Their lead candidate, Widaplik, is the world's first triple combination pill for hypertension, approved by the FDA under the US 𝗙𝗫𝗣𝗥𝗦𝗧 action date on June 2025. Widaplik combines 3 drugs, telmisartan and 𝗙𝗬𝗣𝗣𝗥𝗦𝗧, and indapamide at optimized low to mid doses to deliver superior blood pressure control while minimizing side effects. Hypertension affects nearly 500 million people worldwide, but most do not achieve adequate blood pressure control due to factors like therapeutic inertia, polypharmacy, and lack of adherence. Widaplik simplifies treatment, improves convenience, and potentially enhances clinical outcomes, addressing key barriers to optimal care. The approval positions 𝗔𝗣𝗣𝗥𝗢𝗡𝗦 for significant commercial success in the coming years and makes it a prime acquisition candidate for larger pharmaceutical companies looking to expand their cardiovascular portfolios. 2. Product value proposition. Widaplik offers several distinct advantages that support its value proposition: clinical efficacy, tolerability, patient adherence, real-world value, and scalability. In terms of clinical efficacy, studies show Widaplik is superior to dual therapy, with over 70% of patients achieving blood pressure targets within a month. Regarding tolerability, the low-dose design minimizes side effects, improving long-term tolerability. For patient adherence, Widaplik simplifies therapy from multiple pills to 1 per day, reducing treatment burden and boosting compliance. Real-world value is supported by early data showing improvements in quality-adjusted life years and cardiovascular event reduction, creating a compelling cost-benefit case. Finally, with 3 titratable doses available, Widaplik can be used for initial therapy and escalation in poorly controlled patients, providing flexibility and scalability. 3. Market landscape and evolution. Despite numerous treatments for hypertension, only a minority of patients achieve adequate blood pressure control. Current guidelines increasingly favor initial combination therapy over monotherapy, but market uptake remains low due to challenges associated with dual therapy, including polypharmacy concerns and the need for dose titration. With the introduction of Widaplik, 𝗔𝗣𝗣𝗥𝗢𝗡𝗦 addresses these limitations by offering a single pill solution that is both effective and convenient. Moreover, technology trends are also encouraging the development of polypills and fixed-dose therapies, aligning with clinician needs for simplified regimens and patient preferences for ease of use. Aging populations and rising comorbidities increase the need for effective, tolerable, and scalable cardiovascular therapies. Widaplik is strategically positioned to capitalize on this convergence of clinical guidelines, real-world necessity, and user-centered design. Competitive positioning. Widaplik's market entry is timely given the limitations of existing therapies. Generic dual combinations dominate the market, but suffer from issues like poor adherence and limited innovation. Some biotechs are exploring novel mechanisms like aldosterone synthase inhibitors, but these remain unproven at scale. In contrast, Widaplik is the first FDA-approved triple combination pill for hypertension, differentiating itself with multiple dosing options and proven superiority in blood pressure reduction. Additionally, its strong safety data and guideline-aligned approach make it a compelling choice for both clinicians and patients, setting it apart from fragmented regimens or niche entrants. 5. Market access and commercial strategy. George might plan to launch Widaplik in the US late 2025, followed by regulatory submissions in the EU and Asia. Their commercial strategy likely focuses on 3 key areas: payer access, prescriber engagement, and patient support. George will probably demonstrate Widaplik's value to payers through real-world evidence showcasing its effectiveness and adherence, aiming for favorable tire placement and reduced cost sharing. To engage prescribers, they might educate physicians on early combination therapy benefits and encourage switching from multi-pill regimens to Widaplik, highlighting its convenience and efficacy. Lastly, George will likely offer adherence programs and affordability tools to reduce friction at the pharmacy level, ensuring patients can access and afford Widaplik. Pricing will likely position the product modestly above generic dual combo pills, but below newer branded cardiovascular agents, justified by Widaplik's superior outcomes, fewer side effects, and potential system-wide savings from reduced hospitalization rates and events. 6. Valuation and financial outlook. As a private company, George Medicines does not disclose specific financial information. However, based on comparable cardiovascular biotech transactions and market sizing, the company's current fair valuation likely falls in the $500 million to $700 million range. Peak sales of Widaplik could reach $900 million to $1.3 billion by 2030, assuming a gradual market penetration into the large combination therapy segment and adjusting for market risk. The company could achieve break-even by 2028 if market uptake and payer coverage align. Additionally, the pipeline, including 𝗔𝗣𝗥𝗢𝗏, a triple pill for type 2 diabetes, could further enhance the enterprise value. 7. M&A outlook and CVR structuring. Given its streamlined business model, successful regulatory execution, and first-in-class status, George Medicines represents an attractive acquisition target for large pharmaceutical companies or private equity consolidators seeking to strengthen their cardiovascular portfolios. A potential transaction could be structured with contingent value rights or CVRs to balance near-term de-risking for sellers and investors, with future upside contingent on achieving certain milestones. Possible CVRs could include milestone payments tied to exceeding $250 million in U.S. net sales within 3 years and payouts upon securing EU regulatory approval or Japanese market entry. Additionally, value could be triggered based on the publication of real-world data demonstrating improved quality adjusted life years or better adherence compared to standard of care. Furthermore, CVRs linked to advancing the pipeline, such as 𝗔𝗣𝗥𝗢𝗏 or additional polypill formulations, could also be included in the deal. Such a transaction could elevate the total transaction value to $1.20 to $1.5 billion, with the upfront portion ranging between $500 million and $700 million, and the remainder delivered as milestone-linked payouts. 8. Strategic recommendation. If you are an acquirer or investor, consider structuring deals with CVRs to manage uncertainty while capturing upside. Prioritize diligence on market access traction, 𝗘𝗫𝗥𝗦 generation, and payer sentiment. Closely monitor early launch data for adoption patterns and adherence performance. If you are George Medicines, maximize real-world data collection and dissemination post-launch. Prepare for a dual-track strategy, either an IPO by 2026 or strategic acquisition discussions. Expand manufacturing and supply chain capacity to meet potential global demand. 9. Final outlook. Widaplik has the potential to redefine hypertension care by offering a more effective and user-friendly approach to a chronic, globally prevalent condition. With solid clinical data, a ready market, and strong strategic positioning, 𝗔𝗣𝗣𝗥𝗢𝗡 stands at an inflection point for both commercial scale and financial exit. If milestones are achieved, the company's value could rise to $1.5 billion or more by 2030 through a combination of internal growth, global expansion, and potential M&A realization.